The courtroom was hushed, save for the faint, restless cries of a baby near the back. Mariah sat on the wooden bench, her arms wrapped protectively around a small bundle, her daughter, Ava. Every heartbeat felt loud as she glanced up at the judge. Judge Harrison looked down from the bench with a skeptical gaze. A faint, dismissive smile curved his lips. "So, a 19-year-old mother representing herself in court," he said, voice calm but edged with disbelief. "This should be interesting." Mariah's throat tightened. She felt the weight of the judge's doubt and of the eyes silently judging her from all sides. But she didn't waver. "Your Honor," she said clearly, "I'm here because my landlord illegally changed the locks on my apartment without any notice. I have proof, and I'm prepared to show it." The judge raised an eyebrow, still unconvinced. "A teen mom playing lawyer? Are you certain this court's time is well spent?" Mariah inhaled slowly, steadying herself. "I know the law. I've studied. This isn't about age or circumstance. It's about what's right." This wasn't just any 19-year-old standing in front of the judge. Mariah Jameson's story was one of resilience born from hardship. Growing up in a small town where opportunities felt scarce, her mother had instilled one unshakable belief: education was the key to change. By 16, Mariah was at the top of her class, her eyes set on law school. The dream seemed distant as she watched her single mother work 2 jobs just to keep the family afloat. Yet Mariah refused to give up. She earned a scholarship to a respected university, the first in her family. Then, everything changed. One quiet evening, Mariah sat on her bed, a positive pregnancy test trembling in her hands. A wave of fear and uncertainty crashed over her. She imagined her scholarship slipping away, the whispered judgments of classmates who once admired her, the disappointed looks of teachers. But deep inside, a fierce determination took root. "I'm not giving up on my dreams," she whispered, brushing a tear from her cheek. "Not for me, for Ava." The months that followed were a whirlwind of doctor visits, late-night study sessions, and juggling part-time jobs. Mariah's days were a delicate balancing act. School, work, motherhood. Judgment followed her everywhere, from strangers, classmates, and even some faculty. One professor bluntly told her, "You won't make it through law school with a baby." Mariah clenched her fists but replied quietly, "Watch me." After Ava was born, Mariah found a clerkship at a small local law firm. Though the tasks were basic, answering phones, filing papers, she soaked in every lesson and studied relentlessly. Her tiny apartment was cluttered. Ava's crib pressed against a wall stacked with law textbooks. Night after night, Mariah pored over tenant rights, eviction laws, determined to arm herself with knowledge, because she knew someday she might need it. That day arrived sooner than she expected. Returning home one afternoon, Mariah froze. The locks on her apartment door had been changed. Her landlord, Mr. Caldwell, claimed she was behind on rent, but Mariah knew it wasn't true. Taped coldly to the door was an eviction notice. Her stomach twisted, but her mind raced. She refused to be pushed out without a fight. On the morning of the hearing, Mariah dressed carefully, clutching her folder filled with evidence. Ava lay asleep, swaddled in a blanket, in her stroller. As she stepped into the courtroom, every eye turned toward her, some curious, many skeptical. Judge Harrison, known for his impatience, looked her over dismissively. "So, you're here to challenge an eviction notice?" he said with a faint sneer. "Do you really believe you're qualified to do this?" Mariah met his gaze, steady and calm. Yes, Your Honor. I have evidence proving this eviction was illegal. A dry chuckle escaped him. A teenager playing lawyer? This is almost a joke. A few nervous chuckles echoed around the room. Mariah took a deep breath and stood a little straighter. The law doesn't care about my age or my situation, she said firmly. It only cares about truth and evidence. She opened her folder and handed the judge carefully organized copies of emails, texts, and official notices. The judge flipped through the documents, brow furrowing. This isn't just a misunderstanding, she explained. My landlord changed the locks without proper notice, violating tenant rights. The courtroom grew quiet. Even the bailiff stopped his usual movements. Judge Harrison cleared his throat, the smirk fading. Your preparation is impressive, he admitted. He glanced at Mr. Caldwell, who sat stiffly, arms crossed. Mr. Caldwell, why were the locks changed without any formal eviction notice or court order? The landlord shifted uneasily. The tenant was behind on rent 2 months. I thought immediate action was best. Mariah shook her head. I was communicating with him about payments and requested more time. He never responded before changing the locks. She pointed to a dated email in the exhibits. This email shows my request. He ignored it. Murmurs filled the courtroom. Judge Harrison leaned back, steepling his fingers. So, you claim he unlawfully evicted you without due process? Yes, Your Honor. The judge studied the documents again, then looked directly at Mariah. You're representing yourself. Why not hire a lawyer? Mariah's lips pressed together as she looked down at Ava. Because, Your Honor, sometimes the only person who will fight for you is yourself. Flashback, Mariah speaking with a lawyer at the firm. The lawyer sighed. Mariah, you have a lot going on. Maybe you should settle. Mariah's jaw tightened. Number, I want to learn. I want to fight. Judge Harrison nodded slowly. I admire your determination. This court will hear your case. For the next hour, Mariah spoke with clarity and confidence. She cited statutes, referenced tenant rights laws, and calmly dismantled Mr. Caldwell's arguments. When the landlord's lawyer tried to interrupt, the judge raised a hand. Let her finish. Mariah described the hardship, how she and Ava had nowhere to go after the locks were changed, relying on friends and shelters, the stress caused by the landlord's actions. Just as the landlord was about to rest his case, Mariah requested to call a witness. Judge Harrison looked intrigued. Proceed. Mariah stood and looked toward the courtroom door as a woman entered, sharp, confident, with an undeniable air of authority. Your Honor, this is Ms. Angela Blake, a tenant rights advocate and lawyer assisting me pro bono. Angela took the stand. She spoke about Mr. Caldwell's repeated illegal eviction tactics, detailing the legal violations. The judge and courtroom listened, rapt. Then, Angela turned to Mariah and said quietly, I'm proud of how far you've come. The courtroom gasped as Angela removed her sunglasses. Judge Harrison's eyes widened. Angela Blake, the state's top civil rights attorney? The room went silent. Mariah smiled softly. Yes, Your Honor. That's my mentor and my secret weapon. The judge leaned forward. Miss Jameson, it seems you are not just any teen mom. You're a fighter, and this court recognizes your right to justice. He brought his gavel down decisively. This court rules in favor of Ms. Jameson. Mr. Caldwell, you are ordered to restore her tenancy immediately and compensate her for damages. The courtroom buzzed with whispered excitement and applause. Mariah looked down at Ava, who smiled sleepily. Outside the courtroom, reporters gathered. Mariah smiled, holding Ava close. I'm just a mom who refused to give up. If you believe in yourself and fight for your rights, nothing can stop you. If Mariah's story inspired you, please like this video and share it with others. For more real stories of courage and justice, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Remember, strength and knowledge can change your life. Don't be afraid to stand up and fight for what's right.